Hello, welcome along, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Welcome back to another World War I Wednesday. Sorry we didn't get one last week, I was busy with other stuff. But this week, Wednesday the 16th of April 2025, and here we are now, and I've just done some wood graining and some work on the seat. So what we've done is got the burnt umber and burnt sienna oil paint there on the cardboard for the oil to soak out. And then brushed it on, and then what I do then is I come along with a cotton bud and just work it to get the sort of wood grain look. But what I'm doing here is letting it sort of just dry out a bit to become a bit drier, a bit more sticky, and then it doesn't just sort of rub off. You can really sort of play with it. It becomes like a thick grease that you can never remove it. You just move it around. But you can see we've got like a kind of wood grain effect. Here on these wing struts, you can see we've gone for the wood grain on there, so they're looking good. So we'll just leave those, we'll get those in the airing cupboard later on, and then give those I don't know, a good 5 or 6 days or whatever in the airing cupboard, and then give them a clear coat to seal them in. I've also done the seat. Now the seat, this was painted in the tan colour as well. I don't know if I remember if I said in the last video, I think I used XF57, didn't I? But what I've done here is got some odourless thinners and some of the two browns mixed up and made up like a wash, and then just brushed it on, okay, so it sort of picks up all the wicker detail. And then here I've got a Modeller's World brown wash and also gone in with that to kind of break it up a bit, so you get this sort of, it's not just a consistent one colour. I've got some more wash here that we can put in here, and there we go. Now today I'm doing this on Tuesday, okay, so it's, for you guys it's yesterday, for me obviously it's now. But I was talking to Luke last night on the Moz live stream, and about this Paladin that I've been working on. And he suggested a wash with burnt umber. So I'm going to go away from World War I Wednesday. I'm going to get the Paladin and get a wash on it. And if you want to see that, you can go and watch the Paladin videos. So see you back for that. Alright, so back to the World War I stuff. The Paladin's done. There we go, looking lovely. So we can put that away so it can all dry. So we'll put that away somewhere nicely. In fact, I'll turn the camera off. But just so you can see that little bit of oil wash, it just makes such a difference. It really does make everything sort of look dusty. I can't find the words. I mean, the wheels look bloody great. It really does have that sort of, come on camera, focus. Very, very sort of deep look to it. Lovely. Right, in fact I ought to go down those rims again, didn't I? Back in a minute. Alright, so there we go. So there's our sort of spine part there. What I'm going to take this tape off so that it doesn't get too attached. So we had that masked off. In fact, I'm going to grab a cotton bud and just remove some of the oil from in there, because that's going to be masked and painted green. Okie dokie. Right, so that's cleaned out of there. Okay, so that's all done, so that can go in the airing cupboard now and dry out. The seat is done with the washes. I did actually go back over again with the brown wash that I made for the Paladin. So that's good. So we're going to let that dry, and then what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to give this a dry brushing with a sort of sand colour, a buff colour. And that will bring out all the wicker sort of look on it, and then we'll go in afterwards and brush paint the leather as you've seen me do before, and then use some oils and stuff to kind of get a sort of like a worn look to it, like a blotchy look. So there we are. Now when we did the last video I sprayed some parts green, if you remember. This is 309, and as you can see I've sort of messed up there. I've got a terrible finish on the paint there, if you can see that. I don't know how I've managed that, that's awful. So I'm going to sand that out, but also if you look at this one, I haven't come around the side of the rim properly. This is obviously when I wasn't feeling good, isn't it? But I think what I'm going to do is get these off the sprue, get the polycaps in, glue them together, and then mount them on a stick. But I think the first thing I should do is let's get these in the airing cupboard out of the way, and then I'll come back. Hang on, that's better. So we've got the seat there that can dry off and we'll get a dry brushing. So if we look in the instructions here, we can see that the wheels are going to go together. Where are they? Here we are. So we've got the wheels going together there. We've got a polycap in them. So no doubt the polycap will be in this little box of goodies. So we'll pour all this out, have a look. There's the tyres. I would have thought the tyres would have been a grey colour. So the polycaps must be in the bags with the rest of the parts. So I will go and find the polycaps. I hope we haven't got them missing, because I'm not sure what size they are. But, I've got plenty of spares to deal with the situation if we are missing. But I'll have a look and find them. Hang on. Okay, first things first, I'm going to use this little icky sticky stick. This is a 600 grit. It's worn out, so it's more like 800. And that'll just level that paint out of touch where I've made a bit of a mess. The same on here. Remember, this paint's been on here now for 2 weeks and it's still, this is one of the problems with Mr. Hobby paint. It doesn't dry very fast like Tamiya does, but it is a very hard wearing paint. You know, if you're building RC tanks and stuff, I would thoroughly recommend Mr. Hobby over Tamiya, because it is a much more resilient scratch resistant paint. But just remember, it does take longer to dry. So that's those off of there. We'll give them a quick, there's a 400 grit zebra stick here. So if you want to get any of these Infini sanding sticks, you can get them from Brooks Models, brooksmodels.com. I usually put a link in my videos. If there's no link below this video, have a look at one of my other videos. Generally there is a link in there, and you can also tells you about the codes. You can use NMB10, NMB20, depending on how much money you spend, and you can save 10 or 20% on your bill respectively. There we go. So right, we'll get these polycaps off of here. Unusual to see them in green. We've got that square one there, that's for the prop. So put that back in the box. So that is going to go into there. That one's going to go into there. And then this wheel, we have 2 little holes in here, and we have 2 little pins on here. So I'm guessing that's how it's going to line up. There we go. So we'll just hold that together, and then what we can do, we can paint them as one. It should be a lot easier to paint them on a stick rather than paint them on the sprue. I should have done this before. So get plenty of cement in there, get a nice good strong weld going on in there. That's that one. Now we'll do the other one. Get that together. Just like that. And then again, we'll get plenty of cement in there, let it capillary in, do its thing. Well, this one's going to need clamping. This one's a bit warped. Let's make sure we get plenty of cement in there so it doesn't ever split apart. Loads in there, got oozing out everywhere. Right, let's grab a couple of clamps. I'm going to use these here, bulldog clamps. Keep them clipped to a piece of cardboard for keeps them all together in your drawer. There we go, just like that. Is this one coming apart? No, you see this one's dead flat. So we just had the one warped sprue and one was dead flat. How unusual. We've also got these parts here. And these are the little fairings. When we come to fit the wing, there are little fairings here that go over that central spar. You can see them here and here. And again, they've got to be painted with that same green. So what we'll do is we'll get them off the sprue as well, and give them a clean up. I've done the insides because I wasn't sure if we'd be able to see the inside. So just grab that 400 grit zebra stick and remove those sprue gates. Lovely. And the same here. Lovely. And then here, this one and this one, and this one and this one. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll stick those to a bit of blue tack or something, and then we can paint them at the same time. So we've got plenty of sprue to get rid of today. Get rid of those. Right, so wait for these to dry. Get those on a stick. I've also got to... I've done it already. I'd forgotten I'd done it. Am I losing it or what? So yeah, those bits of bad paint are sanded out. So we'll get those painted, let them dry for another week, and then we can dry brush them, weather them, whatever it is we're going to do. But obviously, we need to let that one's glue dry first. In the meantime, I think what we can do is look at getting our fuselage sorted. Now we've done all the wings and everything now. We're really getting to the end of this now. We've also sprayed those little panels there so they can be fitted. Yep, they're in there, and they're sprayed with I think I sprayed these with LP48, which is sparkling silver, so it's got a nice bright finish on them. So they can be fitted. We can get our rigging coming through the side. I also need to fit this engine firewall and this oil tank as well. I don't think I've done that yet, have I? Need to try and catch up with the instructions really. Get the seat. I don't want to get the seat in necessarily, but I want to get that tank in, because when it comes to doing this rigging here on the top, the tank has the front two eyelets in it, so they're going to have to be picked out in black as well, I think. We've also got this little bit to do on the tail. So I think we'll be doing little bits of string today, so that should be fun. I don't think, no we haven't, we'll get these guns glued together as well. In fact, we'll get that done first, and then I'll have plenty of time to start to try and harden up before we need them. Right, let's get those off the sprue and get them done. Okay, we've got these pieces mounted on some blue tack on a scrap of wood, so they're ready to go. We've got the tops of our guns there, which is L1, and then we've got here, we have halves of guns, so we have tiny flimsy little gun sight on one of these. So this one is G30. Okay, so cut the sprue gate on that one, and that one's going to go with G28, which is that one. Okay, so that one there, and then this one here. These aren't really best suited for god hands, because god hands need to use them properly, you need the sprue to be to one side of the part. So I'm gonna, you don't want to watch this, do you? I'm gonna basically get these de-seamed and then get them glued together. See you in a sec. Okay, so they're all cleaned up. So these gun halves are simply gonna go together. We've got pins to align everything. I can hear the microwave beeping, that's my jacket potato done for lunch, with tuna mayonnaise and a drop of vinegar, if you must know. It's one of my favourite potato fillings. What's yours? Give me some ideas for trying something different. Let's have World War I cookery with Nige. So, I don't know if Steve watches this. Steve Shanks is a big fan of the show. Met him at Telford this year. He's just come back from Japan and he sent me this. Yes! Tamiya Basic Putty. 330 yen. I don't know how much that is over here. And he also sent me these. These look very interesting. They're cocktail stick cotton buds. So very interesting. They're basically cocktail sticks with a cotton bud end on them. So we'll have a go with them. I don't know if Steve watches this channel, but I think he does. I know he watches the channel, but I don't know if he watches this series. He probably does. He watches most of my videos and often comments. Lovely guy. Very nice guy. And I've got to do some resin for him. So that'll be coming your way, Steve, as soon as I get some new silicone in and stuff. I hope you understand I don't want to do it right away, because obviously if I buy some silicone in now just to do one job, by the time I need it again, the silicone's gone off. So I sort of wait until I need a few jobs doing, and then do it then. Same goes for, I can't remember your name there, somebody else wants me to mould something for them as well. Anyway, right, drop of cement in there. Drop of cement in there, that should be enough to hold that on. Just put a drop at each end. Just like that. Be careful not to break that gun sight off. So that's going to go like that, and then the barrels are going to go in the fronts. So I've got to make the other one up now, and the identifying part between them, you can see that this one on the starboard side has the gun sight and the one on the other side doesn't. We've got lots of bits of painting to do. These are the leather pads that they lean up against. You've got the cocking handles here. Yes, I did say cocking handle. So yeah, I'm going to get this other halves glued together, and then I'm going to have my lunch. I'll see you when my stomach's full. Right, we're back. Let's turn this magnifier light off. So I'm looking at the guns and I'm thinking we may as well just get on and get these barrels glued together as well, and then everything will be ready to go. I mean, we're basically, and that's all we've got left now, is that and the propeller. Oh, and there's a couple of grey shiny bits in there, grey bits that will be shiny. So yeah, we're pretty much there. We just got some rigging to do, which we're going to get done in a minute. So I want to get these barrels glued together, or cemented together. Sorry, I get told off when I call it glue. Okay, so we'll pull that end together, and then that end will come apart, and then that will give us the opportunity to let some cement capillary into the joint. Okay, and just in case, I'm going to go over like that, just in case, make sure I don't touch it. There we go, looking at it end on, making sure we've got everything all nicely lined up. What we're looking for there, making sure we've got a circle, not this or this. So, sorry to you experienced modelers out there, you must think I'm trying to tell you how to suck eggs, but we have to remember a lot of people watch to learn some basic skills, so it's best to, I like to guide them down the right path if I can. And to those of you that are new to the hobby, you know, watch a, how can I say this politically correctly, watch a range of videos and see how people do things or how they advise you to do them, and then make your own mind up which you think would be best for you. If you know what I'm saying. You know, I'm not necessarily saying that everything I do is right. A lot of people would disagree with things I do. There are often more than one way to do a job, any job, and unfortunately there are those that say it's their way or the highway, which isn't necessarily true. Okay, what we can do there is roll that, and that'll help it all round up nicely. Right, so I'm going to put some cement down that seam, just let that go in. Okay, there's the other one in the pegs. So get some pegs on this one, and I would seriously suggest when you do this, guys, again for the newbies, let's get a different peg, a newer style peg, because the older ones, it's bloody typical. Every one I pick up is the older style peg. Look at it, every single one. There's a newer one. So the newer one's got a smaller radius at the front. Sorry about that. Yeah, after it's been in the pegs for about 2 or 3 minutes, take it out and just have a look, because sometimes if you don't have it perfectly square in the pegs, what will happen is it will actually push the parts. So you can see this one's moved slightly. So you can just slide them back together. Another way you can do this is get a pair of tweezers and go diametrically across the seam and just squeeze, and that will level everything out. So not that way, the seam's going this way, so have it so that the tweezers are actually basically touching the seam, and then just squeeze to get everything where it's squared up. We'll take those out. Okay, and we can check how these are going to fit. Assume that's the top. Yeah, they fit in there, lovely, look. Okay, so here we go. Just check the fit on this one. Yeah, you can't put them the wrong way around. So that's all good. Right, so what we can do now is get these ends on, and these will probably help to round everything up as well. Just run some cement around there. And if you wonder why I'm doing this now, it's like I say, I can glue these together now, and then I can leave them to dry, so that when we want to, we can come in and do all our sanding and everything. What am I doing? Come on, Nige. Right, we can do all our sanding and everything when the seams are all dry, rather than having to wait if we leave it to a later stage. So I'm just going to get another magnifier and check these are all nice and square and central and everything, so they're not like that, and then I'll be straight back. Alright, I've also glued this chute together here, G22, G26, so that's ready to go in as well. So there's another chute as well which we've got to remember to paint. In fact, I will get that one out of the bag, because I know I'll forget it, and then we'll be waiting around to paint one part, won't we? Right. There we go. Okay. So all of that can go over there, and then once the glue's cured off, it can go in the box and be left to sit and dry forever. Right. So I need to go and get the fuselage. I'm going to take these clamps off these wheels. I'll have a bit of a tidy up. I'm going to go and get the fuselage, and what we'll do is we will get on with some rigging after we fitted the that oil tank, or fuel tank, or whatever it is in there. Alright, back in a bit. Right, so I've got the fuselage here, I've got the tank, and as we can see from the instructions, the tank fits into two little cutouts in the fuselage here. So I'm going to grab my radius blade and just remove, because we've got paint and oil and varnishes and all sorts of stuff going on in here, so we'll get rid of that so we can see the brown plastic. We'll get rid of the shavings, and then get into here like this. Right, and then I'm going to grab some extra thin. Oh, that was close. Bloody, I whacked that properly with my elbow then. I'm surprised it didn't break. Blimey. This is the trouble. When you're working at home, you've got all this space around. I've got lights and cameras and all sorts. I've got that bloody light on again. I keep leaving that light on. It makes the screen dark for you. I'm sorry. The trouble is I'm blind as a bat. One of my neighbours out there today fixing his fence. Don't quite know why. We've just had 10 days of lovely weather, and today it's raining and he's fixing his fence. Maybe he's had stuff he had to do. Right. Okay, so that's that glued in. Now I've painted all these little brackets on here. As you know, all the brackets on this model are all painted black. The instructions tell you to paint silver. I know what I forgot to do. I didn't remove the paint from here. That was very silly. That's got black paint and silver paint and all sorts. Remember also with this we've got the issue, yeah, this plastic doesn't like gluing, does it, with the ordinary cement. So I think we better get some super glue on the go, haven't we? Just remembered that. This stuff was plated. This is the stuff that didn't like to be glued. Even when you scraped and sanded the seams, it still didn't like being cemented. So we better get some super glue on. Oh, there's some here. It's already out. No, it's not. That's paint. Right, let me get some. I'll get some of the black thin, I think, because if that oozes out, we can just remove it with a cotton bud. Where's my applicator? There it is. So we'll put some. I've got proper frog in my throat today. Probably got a bloody cold coming back. After all, I have been out. And here in Gloucester, this cold virus that's going around is rife. Just notice that's come away from there. So we'll get some glue in there as well. There we go. Right, let me just grab a cotton bud. I'm going to put some more of this cement in here, just to get a good joint. Right, and then we can place this into the gaps. Give it a good push down. And there we are. Just mop up that excess. There we are. And then I'm going to come in with my black paint and just touch in on the tops just to make them more prominently black. Same on those there at the front, and on the side there, and on the side there. It's all going to be covered up at the end of the day anyway, but why not get it nice while it's being built? Oh, I forgot to mention as well, I dry brushed the wicker seat with yellow paint, so that's looking quite nice. I think it needs something else and I can't work out what it is. We'll get there when we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We don't need to fit that yet. That's going to drop straight down in there on those two big lugs. So that can sit there and dry, and then we can get on with doing some rigging. So they're asking us here to do the underside of the fuselage and the underside of the tail first, and then be very careful. That looks like it's going through the horn for the elevator. It's not. So be very careful of that. That's actually, it looks like it's going underneath, above, down the other side. They're not showing it here, they're not showing it there, and they're not showing it there. So that's the only place you've got it. Yeah, because it's coming underneath, up, down the other side and under. So We'll get that done in a minute. I should have used clear super glue because I won't be using black super glue on the string because it wicks up the string. Right, let me get myself sorted out and try and recover from that near disaster of absolutely crushing this model then. That would have really, really pissed me off. It would have been screwed up and thrown in the bin, I can tell you. That would have really, really pissed me off if I'd broken that big time. But luckily I haven't. So that was very, very close. I know it's going to get broken because it's so bloody spindly. But just not yet, eh? Okay, so if you remember, I wrapped this string around this AK thinner bottle so that to try and get rid of it, because you can see when I let it go, it's got all these kinks in it where it was around that daft square cardboard thing. So that was a shame. We've got the end covered in super glue so that it threads a lot easier. And this is really difficult for me to do on camera because I can't see a bloody thing. I'm blind as a bat. And I need new glasses and I still haven't. In fact, I might walk over there today and go and have a pint or two and get some glasses sorted. Now, what are they showing here? These instructions are not clear at all. So they're saying I come through the front, around, and then up the other side. So I'm going to pull a good length of this through. Okay, I think we've got absolutely loads spare. This was the AK thinner that the lovely Mark Keogh bought me. Unfortunately, Mark Keogh passed a couple of weeks ago. But he was a lovely, lovely chap. He sent me some of the AK/Meng red paint for my chieftain build even. I haven't put a drill through these. Yes, I have. And I said I can't get on with it. He said I forgot to send you the thinners, and no sooner had he done that than the thinners in the post. So yeah, I'm gonna have to drill these out. I'm gonna go 0.6 and then I'll come back. Okay, so that's that one done. Right, so we can drop that down through there. Okay, and then we can flip this over. And then this one will go through there, just like so. So much easier when you drill these holes out. I drill them out 0.6, guys, just to remove any excess paint. And then it's going to go through this one here. I just want to say a massive shout out to Ron Carverley. Last Friday he was in hospital having surgery. I've heard nothing from him since. He liked a comment I put on his channel, but I don't know if that was before or after his surgery. I hope he's okay. I hope he's made a very, very fast recovery and everything. I don't know what the operation was for. It's nothing to do with me. It's none of my business, and if I did, I wouldn't mention it on here. I just hope that everything's gone well and he's okay. Because he's a lovely chap, old Ron. Alright, so that's got to go through there, and then it's got to be passed through here, like so. I don't know why I always use these bloody great chunky old tweezers, don't I? I don't know why. And then this one has got to go front to back through there. Doesn't want to play ball. Come on, go through. There we go. Like so. Drop that down through there. And wind up this excess string on here. Then we can turn this one over, just like that. And we can grab this, thread it back through there. A bit closer to the end so we get some more control on it. Pull that through, and then that one can go up. Come on, you know you want to. Up through there. And there we go. So what we can do now is get some super glue. And we will put some super glue here. We'll let that dry. And in the meantime, what we can do here is tie this end off. So all I do is I just go through one loop, just like so. And then pull it tight. Make sure that the string that's coming out of the hole and going to where it's going is coming out on the right angle. And then literally, I'm not happy with that. I want that string to be back over here. And then literally drop a super glue on there. That'll soak into that string and it will become one with the plastic. Just leave that to go. I'm not going to glue any of these joints here in case we put a twist in anything. And now that should be pretty dry. We can cut that off, try and go on an angle. Makes it easier to thread through if it's cut on an angle at the end. That's as per Hasegawa's instructions, that's not me. And then this one's going to, nope, the wrong one. Where are we? This one. Here we go. This one's going to come around. So that's a piece of spare which has been cut off. Now I want to just pull this and make sure it's taut. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is loop this around, same as the other one. Make a bigger loop in there. Whoops. Oh dear, I'll do this off camera, guys. I can't see what I'm bloody doing. I doubt if you can either. So what I'm going to do is make sure it's pulled taut, and then just make a loop out of it. Back in a sec. Here we are, guys. Total cock up. I've got to do all again because I pulled it taut, but this one here didn't go taut. So you can see that one's really baggy, so it looks horrible. If I pull that one taut, that one goes baggy, and if I pull that one taut, it'll go baggy over here, and if I pull that one taut, it goes baggy there. So what I could do is just glue one of these joints and pull it out, but I'd rather have it, it's gone perfectly up to now. So I would rather, I'm going to come with my Tamiya cutters. Actually, they're much better at cutting up to the face than the God hands are. Okay, so that's that removed, so we can pull that out of there and start again. Which adds to the fun, doesn't it? It's got a little lump of glue on the end of it, I think, which makes it not want to go through. There we are. So we get those knots out of there. I'll do that under a magnifier, and I'll just replace it. Do it all again. Right, see you in a minute. And there we go, all done. Better luck next time, as they say. So that's all nice and taut. So that's quite a good looking piece of rigging, isn't it? So we've got to do the underside again now. I'm conscious of rubbing the paint off this fin. I need to be careful. In fact, what I think I'll do, I'll get a piece of used masking tape and I'll de-tack it quite a lot. Just put that on there. Right, so we've got to do this underside. So again, we'll get our string. We've got the end cut off with the super glue and everything, and what we're going to do is basically go from all the way back here, all the way up there, all the way up to here actually. So all the way from here all the way up to there in a crisscross fashion, and going to make it look pretty. So I'll put a couple through and then I'll turn the camera off and I'll probably say goodbye, or I'll come back and show you how it looks when it's done, because this is going to be quite awkward, I think. I think I'm going to need my magnifier. I drilled these holes, I'm sure I have. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this super glue on this here again, because I think the end of this string is oh, put it right on a bloody bend. Look, those bloody bends are a right pain in the ass on this string. I wish they hadn't wrapped it around a piece of cardboard. I wish they'd put it on a spool. You can see every couple of inches you've got this annoying kink, and if you don't get the string taut, that kink comes back, and that's what looks bloody awful. So there it is there, so we'll cut that off. That's an angle. We'll see if that goes through. No. Yes. I think there must have been something stuck in that hole, because I'm sure I drilled all the fuselage holes out. There we go, and we'll have some extra string there. So what are we doing here? We're coming into, it's going to be tied off there, but what we're doing here, we're coming in from the bottom, so we've got to make sure we've got all these rigging lines in, or control lines. So is that going to go above or below that control line? That's going to go below it, isn't it? Because if I have it on the other side of it, it's going to pull the line down. So this is going to take some thinking about as we go through. There we go. Got a loop caught around the... Oh, come on. Don't you know the camera's on? Come on. I've just had a delivery come through of the latest Hatchet Lancaster parts. Some of you will be pleased to know, some of you will be don't give a darn. So I'm going to come up underneath, like so, pull that through. Oh, I've come on the outside. Right, I'm going to turn the camera off, do this on camera, then I'll come back and show how it looks, and then we'll start looking at doing the other side. Okay, you might be shouting at the screen, and I've spotted it. Luckily I spotted it. I started off by putting the string through the hole in the side, which I shouldn't have done. The string has to go through the hole in the bottom. So we'll cut that off. We'll pull that through. Okay, and then we'll rethread it, making sure we don't capture the steering control line, the control line for the tail wheel that doesn't work. Come on, go through the hole, you swine. There's a good boy. Right. So I'm going to pull that through like that, and I'm going to leave it loose. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is, once we've done both sides, I'll tie off one end and then I'll pull them and make sure they're even and not pull in the fuselage, because I think it would be easy to twist them both, as you can see how much it bows there. So I'm going to get the other side done, and then I'll get tied off, and then we'll see where we go from there. Okay, so there we are. You can see I've got the tail set up on a block, because what I'm trying to do is make sure I've got no twist in it. Now what I'm looking at here, I've tied and glued these and cut off these ends. But these ends here I've just tied off, and I've left the tails, and they're unglued. So what I'm going to do is, once I've done the top and the sides, I can pull them all together, and then if I start to see a twist, I can mess around with that twist and pull them. If I do these now and glue them, and then when I find that I put a twist in it, I can't pull it out if I've glued everything up. So I think I'll leave them loose and then play with it at the end. You'll also notice here at the back, when I glued these, I got these control lines here and I moved them on the outside so they didn't get affected by that glue on there, so they can come back in now. So there we are. Right, it's starting to look absolutely bloody lovely. Look at that, all the rigging and stuff. I think what we'll do now is do this bit here on the tail plane, and then we'll call it a day, I think. So for once in my life I've managed to get World War I Wednesday completed on the Tuesday, which is unusual for me. So I think what I might do as well is get some tape. I've got some 18mm tape here. This is the tape that I used to mask that cowl on the front end. So I think what I'll do is get this and detack it a bit, and I'll put these under here. In fact, I should be able to put them all under there in one, and just put some tape in there just to stop those tails hanging about. There we go. No doubt the string will go slack, but we can always tension it afterwards. So there we are. Right, so that's that done. Okay, now this tail. So we can see on here we've got we've got 2 lengths of string again. What have I done with my string? Here it is. So again, we've got the end cut off. I've got my bit of tape there. So let me just familiarise myself with what's going on here, and perhaps I need to drill some holes as well, I think. Back in a minute. Okay, I had to drill out. There's a couple of tiny little lugs down in here. I don't quite know how I'm going to get the string to go through them. So basically what we're doing here is we have the string going down through there. Whoops. Okay, and then that is going to go through this hole here in the middle. Get some slack on this string. Okay, so I'm going to put it on its side. So this one is going to go down oh wow, so that one's going to go down through there and then through that rear. Oh, these bloody kinks in this string do my nut in. Okay, so you can see there it's coming through there, through the middle of that one, through the back of that rib, and now it's got to go down. Try and pick this up. Oh. It's like a piece of bloody wire with 90-degree bends in it. Oh, it's awful. Now that has got to go down through there. I don't quite know how you're supposed to get that to go through, because there we go, got it. There's the actual fuselage is literally like a millimetre below that hole, so we'll pull a good length of that through, I think. So we know all we've got to do is the same on the other side. So what we'll do, we'll get some super glue on here. That's too short, isn't it? Oh, darn it. Start again. I'll do this off camera and I'll come and show you what it looks like when it's done. Oh dear, 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 this is all going wrong today, isn't it? Okay, so all done. Got those two crosses in the back end there, you can see them there. Looking lovely. Just for a little treat, here we go. You can see the elevator's moving, you see the rudder moving with the pedals. It's all awesome, and it's bloody great, this little thing. Right, it's so fragile. So fragile. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day there. I've had enough. I've been, as you've seen, I've done that woodwork today. I've been sat here. It is now 16:06 and I've been sat here, other than having a bit of lunch, I've been sat here since 9 AM. So yeah, what's that, 7 hours? 7 hours to do that and a bit of wood. Oh, this is why these, 7 hours to get a 45-minute video out. Anyway, well, 7 hours to get a 45-minute video out, and now another half-hour editing and stuff. But hey, it's what I do. It's better than working for a living, I can tell you that. Right, so I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week, if not before, and we'll go from there. I've got lots and lots of work going on at the moment, lots to come in your way, and I think you'll enjoy what you've got coming. So I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.